So real quick, Jared, I do want to ask, okay? So we talked about growing up, your favorite films, your favorite DC films, what got you started on DC. What was it specifically for you that you believe makes the Snyderverse stand out compared to what came before and what's coming now?
That's a good question, because a lot of it from where I stand is like Zach was like the first to take these characters seriously. Because here's the thing. Yeah, I like the Reeves movies, but they were a little jokey. Same thing with the Keaton movies to an extent. Zach was like, no, these are legit mythology movies. This is American mythology, so I'm going to treat it seriously like it should be treated. So, I mean, yes, there are humor in Snyder's movies. They're not all grim dark, but it's like the way...
subtle.
Yeah, it's subtle, or it's more... Organic, if you will.
Yep. It's organic. Yeah,
it makes
exactly.
more sense.
He fits it in right where he needs to fit it in. The perfect example would be...
How'd you get the house back from the bank?
I bought the
bank. I bought the bank.
I'm always stressed.
It flows right into there. The one where he...
What are your superpowers? I'm rich.
I'm rich.
Yeah, the one where
I was so glad that line... No, my favorite. The line that my co-host and I were praying was in the Snyder Cut and it wasn't a Whedon line. Is when Cyborg catches Aquaman and Aquaman just goes, "My man!" I was like,
no, mine was the one where he was in the prison with his dad. That was organic. That one right there where he was just like, your foot's in the door. Yeah, that's something people say, man. And then it felt real. And then right after that, he was just like, "No stopping you now." Thanks.
Yeah.
Dad.
Or
just
it's like the way
that's perfect.
The way Zach later like played into that when Flash goes back in time, and I'm watching this and I'm like, what? That scene when Flash goes, "Your son was one of them, Dad. One of the
best of the
best of the best." Yep.
And I'm like, it's like even in Man of Steel, because it's like the scene when Superman is fighting Feora and she has his hand on his eyes, and like this is when the heat vision actually becomes a beam and like blasts her hand away. I like to think, because one of the criticisms of Superman snapping Zod's neck was, he could have put his hand over his eyes, and I'm like, Zach literally showed you early in the movie that
doesn't work. Exactly.
So I like to say, I like to think that Zach anticipated that. It was like, nope, I got you. It wouldn't work.
So again, were you actually interested in the storytelling?
Yeah.
Or were you just but that's what I'm saying. Not you, but I'm saying them. Okay. Were you actually interested in the storytelling? And how Zach actually explained that to make you go, "Oh, I get it," or were you just looking at it just because you wanted something to complain about?
Or it's
Zod
like
got his neck snapped. You know what I mean? And then I heard all these excuses. He could have grabbed Zod and took him here. He could have
flew him up into space.
He could have flew him up into space. No. You are talking about a person that is infinitely more experienced than you in fighting. You got lucky when you broke his neck. That's real talk. Yeah. You got lucky when you broke his neck. Okay, you got him in the right position.
It's not like he just haphazardly did it. He begged with Zod, "Don't make me do this, bro."
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what else?
And Zod made it 100% clear he was not going to stop. He was going to kill every last human on Earth. He told us. He told them that. He literally said that to the screen. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's genetically programmed that way. So it is what it is. He did what he had to do, and
it's like that. The other scene that stands out to me in Man of Steel, and this is where a little fan theory I have comes in. So there's a scene where he's against the World Engine. He's being like hammered down, and then it keeps cutting to like the Daily Planet people being trapped in the building.
Yeah, Jenny and
my fan theory is, so Superman has super hearing. So I like to think he hears her screams, and that motivates him to get up and like go right through it.
That's a really good theory, Jared. I've never thought of that one before. That is awesome,
what, Jared?
Buddy.
For that one, you get a drop.
Oh yeah, sweet. Yeah, and that's he probably figures this is what these people die if I lose. There is no round two. I have to end this now.
Dude, I'm so mind blown.
Yeah, it reminds me of when he said the world's too big, Mom. He was hearing the world screaming as all of that was happening, and he focused in, and he just, I got this. And I'm
still mind blown because I've never made that connection before. And
that's awesome. Yeah.
And the thing is because I told you guys earlier, I've just started going through with Phil actually, Superman and Lois, and that's one of the powers that they really highlight in that show with his son. You know what I mean? Is the super hearing. So now that you said that, it's like, wow, that actually makes so much sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So much sense.
So I'm like, because when someone's properly motivated, they will push past the impossible, particularly someone that can literally move a mountain.
Yeah. No.
And then when the other part that blew my mind when I watched the Snyder Cut, referencing the scene where you have all the League staying on the nuclear reactor, what popped into my mind was that scene when he first puts on the suit before first flight. Jor-El says they will stumble, they will fall, but they will join you in the sun. All of the Leaguers are in the sun.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn, dude.
All you got to do is if you are really into storytelling, you will pay attention to that.
Oh yeah,
you won't. And you understand? What I'm saying? You will see it.
Charles and I say this all the time. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
DC style. That's what we were getting, and that's what was taken from us, and that's what a lot of people are not appreciating, but that's okay. That's why we got Sergeant Murtaugh with Sergeant Riggs to break it down to you later. So stay tuned.
It's like even that. So then I see Wonder Woman, and I was like, okay, this was like one of the first DC movies that I was like a character I knew nothing about. Nothing besides what I had seen of Zach. I read a Woman comics, and the minute she steps up in no man's land and charges those machine guns again, I was like, yep. Man, I really love DC. There you go. I don't always like how they tend to force the heroes with human love interests. Anyone that watches my show knows that I have a real hate boner for Lois Lane and Steve Trevor, but that's from long trauma. That's from long trauma. But it's like, well, on that, because if you look at the themes of Zach, it's like, okay, accepting all that you are, using your gifts to save the world. In the new 52, again, I'm dropping that I read comics. They did a series called Superman Wonder Woman, where it was all about their relationship and how the world reacts to their relationship. Very similar to the Snyderverse, by the way. So Zod and Feora show up in that comic, and it's legit. They look exactly like they came out of Man of Steel.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. I just noticed that, and I was like, oh my gosh, why? But it's like
this was 52.
Yeah.
This is in the 52 era. Okay.
I'm a big proponent of that era, and that is clear. That's what a lot of Zack stuff. If you look at the plot of Zack Snyder's Justice League, just read the first volume of Justice League by Jeff Johns. That's what that is. Okay. Except in many ways expanded, obviously. But so beyond that, there's this great scene when one of the best scenes in that comic. So Wonder Woman takes Superman to meet her family, and her family are the Greek gods. And Apollo, the god of the sun, decides to be a dick to Superman. And he blasts Superman with sunlight. And Apollo just goes, "How are you not dead?" And then Apollo goes, "You blasted me with sunlight. You don't know that much about me, do you?" And then throws him through a mountain.
Oh, wow.
And then this great scene. He turns to Wonder Woman. He goes, "Before you say anything, I know you could have taken him." And then Wonder Woman goes, "That's true, but I enjoyed watching it all the more." So they had that. Or there was this great scene. So Wonder Woman and Green Lantern are fighting. And Wonder Woman goes to Green Lantern. "This gives me no pleasure, but I'm sure you've heard that before."
Wow.
I'm just like, when you have that type of writing, that's when I was like, yeah, I love that era. But anyway, so on that, So the whole purpose of the new 52, and in fact, in Justice League 12, that's when Superman and Wonder Woman first kissed. And what they did was they have a conversation, the Lincoln Memorial. Wonder Woman is just finally broken off with Steve Trevor, much to my happy elation. And they're standing on the porch, and they're talking about being like alone and isolated, not feeling that like they fit in with places. And they're like, "We're not like the gods, but we're not like humans either." And it's 100% a lot of what Zack put in those movies. It was like it's like with Superman, where Man of Steel is him trying to find his place in the world because he doesn't fit in because of his superpowers. So it's like when I looked at like Superman and Wonder Woman, it was more of like carrying on that theme, but in sort of a romancy comic idea there. But so going on with that, so with that show, I started that, and what's really funny is I didn't expect it to explode the way it did, because that's another thing they tell you on YouTube: find something no one's doing and do it. No one's doing a podcast on Superman and Wonder Woman. I do it, and I'm like, well, we're clearly doing this some more. And it's like throughout all the different episodes. So it's kind of funny is, again, this is where I encounter toxic fans. But what's kind of funny, that you're going to love this. So I was talking about how much I hate Lois on Twitter once. And someone just said, well, you're just a Snyder fan. And I go, you realize that Lois is kind of important to the plot of Snyder's movies, right? How would me being a Snyder fan mean I hate Lois? How does that work? And then I remember, oh yeah, these people are emotional people on Twitter. They probably aren't putting that together.
Extremely emotional, and I'll go so far as to say, not to make fun, but I'll go so far as to say that we got some mental wiring issues going on with us.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, the other thing is like
we do, and I mean like they need that. We were talking about they needed diagnoses.
Yeah,
a doctor to say, hey, you need to stop this shit. Because
exactly,
really wrong with you. So
exactly, yeah. But it goes on where the thing is, like what I discovered, it's like they did articles about, like, you'll always encounter pages that say like blank loves comics or blank reads comics. Those accounts, 99% of those don't read the books. They just take panels out of context and just post them. Or you find out that like a few people on a portion of the fan base on Twitter, it's like the place where I like disagree with the Wonder Woman fan base specifically is when a lot of them seem to be more focused on who she's sleeping with instead of giving her good stories. Because that's the thing. They're like, should she be with Steve Trevor or should she be bi and date Cheetah? Yes, there are people.
Crap.
Yeah. I know, exactly. I'm like, I want her to have good stories, because here's the thing. The reason why we don't get a lot of good Wonder Woman content is because DC does not see the value in her. Case in point, there was a story that went by. So around the time when DC published The Death of Superman, anyone that watches Comics League knows what I'm about to bring up. So they did The Death of Superman, and they did Nightfall for Batman. So they wanted a story for Wonder Woman. Oh, God. So Mark Millar, as a joke, proposed the R word of Wonder Woman. By R, I'll tell you what. R word. I'll use a analogy. The violation of Wonder Woman. I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Now it clicks. I know.
Where like, so you know how the first, how like the last issue of the Death of Superman is just full panel pages. Full page panels. Yeah. It would have been just that, of that happening to her publicly.
Wow.
And DC took it seriously and almost published that book.
Wow.
So that is why I am particularly very, very protective of Wonder Woman. And I get pissed off now whenever James Gunn announces a D-list character is getting like a thing, because I'm like, okay, so Clayface is getting a movie before Wonder Woman?
Dude, this is why, look, I make no bones about it, dude. Is this universe is going to fail? It is. It's just going to fail. The general audience is going to be like, "Who the fuck is Clayface?"
And you know what?
Think about it, man. I mean, he's starting a universe with Superman, but not just him.
No, he's not. He's starting with Creature Commandos.
Right. Excuse me.
Well,
yes.
like, what?
Creature Commandos, and then he's dragging, and then it's just what is it? Superman and Friends, the Super Friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. It's
You know
that's
what I mean?
Kind of what it is.
The other day. It's Superman and Friends, but he didn't name it and Friends. It's just Superman.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it's not. And then people are saying
the general audience doesn't know who Mr. Terrific is, man. Guy Gardner, they don't know.
Yeah. Or they like to make fun of his hair because.
Well, it's funny because I was actually posting memes, right? Like I was posting memes after the Superman trailer got released, and those memes only crack within our community, bro. Like people on my personal pages who know me personally, they had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Half of them didn't even know that the trailer was out.
So you mean were you talking about Guy Gardner?
Yeah.
You mean this guy?
Mom will take care of Jack a lot. How many more sleeps before she wakes up again?
Sorry, Jack. She in heaven now.
Damn. I thought the movie was bad.
She sleep forever.
Oh my god.
guys.
Oh my gosh, I can't unsee that now. Oh my god.
Fair warning to everybody in the chat and in the audience watching. We got 49 people.
What you don't know is off to the side, a Green Lantern ring is hovering, waiting for the show to wrap up so we can go hop on Simple Jack's finger.
Oh man.
We are roasting guns tonight.
But it's like what I love to do is when people are telling me that like the Gunverse is supposed to be more clear to the comics, I like pointing out all the inaccuracies. Like the most crazy one is like, well, for one thing, I get why he's using the Kingdom Come logo, but that's used for a very specific place in Superman's career. That's the end of Superman's career.
Exactly.
That is the end of his career. And
Jared,
go ahead.
Before I forget, I'm going to share with this because Rox and I were talking about this the other day when we were pregame organizing for the show tonight. I was telling him that, you know what, Zach would have gotten to Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the story, and I know this is the haters obviously saying that, oh, but Zack Snyder's story's already told, the storyboard's out there. So that, first of all, do you really think that Bruce Wayne is the father? Seriously, when you go back to Man of Steel and Jor-El is saying, you can be the bridge between both worlds. And then on BVS, they're getting hanky-panky in the bathtub. I mean, come on.
And then there's Superman and Lois. There's your bridge right there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There's your bridge
right
there.
Well, and so hold on before I forget. So you would have seen once after the conclusion of Darkseid story and Ben Affleck's Batman. Obviously, we know he has to die.
Mm-hmm.
You could have easily go just like Charles said right there, Superman and Lois. 15, 20 years in the future, you would have seen Henry Cavill.
That would have been
not the Kingdom Come. Wait, maybe not the Kingdom Come, but with the Kingdom Come Clark Kent look.
There you go. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
And we've already seen him because I think there was a picture of Henry Cavill down on the street that he was already getting a little bit of white hair. So,
here's what I always said: if they let's say the stars aligned and they wanted to bring him back for one movie, what they could do if they wanted to make that movie Kingdom Come, because a very important part of Kingdom Come is a battle between two armies of superheroes. So Kingdom Come happens up until that point. That's when Darkseid invades. The heroes have to unite, and we get the world as a Justice League moment.
There we go.
In other words, make that Justice League 3 or 2.
Right.
Because that way,
first it's them doing their
somehow.
Thing, and then when
that way you don't have to worry about cramming in the nightmare sequence stuff, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but like this way, if we get it this way, I'll take it because it's a conclusion in some way that's natural. Well, plus if you do Kingdom Come, the argument of, oh, the actors are too old is irrelevant because everyone's older in that freaking book.
Everybody's
No,
older
not only
too.
that, I've said this multiple times. AI is here to stay. So
Yeah.
that excuse is out of
Plus, we could see Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot together in that movie because Superman and Wonder Woman together is a significant part of that book. So I'm like, I'm not saying no to that.
There you go. Alrighty. So one last question, Jared, before we start talking some other stuff. What was your first comic? What was the first issue that you read? Did it ring a bell? Like for me, the first one that I got, I was the first actual comic that I read was The Death of Superman. That's what got me into okay, because it was a big thing that Superman is dead, he's gonna die. It's like, what the fuck? How is that possible? He's Superman.
Are you talking trade paperback or single issue?
The earliest you could remember. Yeah, whatever you remember. The earliest
trade, it was Trinity War, but in the new 52 Justice. Because what happened was, this is when in the media they were doing articles about Superman and Wonder Woman dating finally. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. I'll go to my store and pick it up. So I just grabbed one off the shelf. It doesn't feature that heavily in it, but it was still pretty cool. And from that, I got a bunch of trades. And then when I started collecting, regularly collecting books, it would probably be, you know what? I don't remember. It was so long ago in terms of single trades. I do have a little treasure that I keep safe though.
What?
So this is the first issue of Superman and Wonder Woman, signed by the artist and graded.
Hold on, let me highlight you. Hold on. There you go, guys, so you can see it.
Here, right there.
There we go.
Nice.
You graded. Oh, nice. You grade
9.6. Wow, dude.
That's a high score. That's nice.
I have a Wonder Woman issue at CGC now being graded because it's getting signed by Gal Gadot.
Nice.
Hey.
They were doing this event where they were like, you can get a Wonder Woman thing signed by Gal Gadot, and I'm like, I'm doing that.
That's awesome. So you got to meet Gal?
No. They actually mail it in.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
on my 1K subscriber special stream, a buddy of mine got me a cameo from Ray Porter.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he made a joke about the fact that I'm very open about this. I've seen the Snyder Cut 16 times.
Oh wow. Damn.
16 times.
Yeah. Well, it helps because another part of my content I do is I do fan edits. And the thing about it, because I've seen these movies so many times, if I need a scene, okay, I need a scene of Superman doing that. BVS! I immediately am able to recall because I've seen these movies so many times.
Wow, dude. Wow. I didn't realize you were that big of a Snyder fan. That's incredible, dude.
That's awesome.
He's become my
Y'all, like I said, if you have it, man, check out. Like I said, I stop by his channel every now and again, but yeah, he's a huge Snyder fan, dude.
Oh yeah. I have the Trident right here.
So a link.
I rule Atlantis.
So when we do, a link will be in the description. So guys, please go check out Comic Leagues. He will teach you a lot when it comes to comic books. Oh, one last question. Okay, one last question, then we're gonna move on to the topic. Yeah. Since we were talking about Wonder Woman, talk to me about Absolute Wonder Woman.
Okay, so
I haven't read it yet. I got it. I purchased it. I purchased the comic. I haven't started it yet.
Okay,
go.
What's your here's pitch? The thing. So you want me to pitch it to you?
Pitch it to everybody. Why should people? Because so here's the thing. So for me, I was hesitant on getting the Absolute comics because it's an aesthetic thing for me. It's not the story, it's an aesthetic. But I got over it. I'll show it to you guys because you guys can see that I actually bought it. Because people sometimes think that I don't read comics and I don't buy shit.
I practically have 3 of every issue for Absolute Wonder Woman because they keep coming out with great covers. But okay, essentially, all right. First off, buy Absolute Wonder Woman. Don't buy Tom King's Wonder Woman. Trust me, that book is grating on your soul. So,
okay.
Case in point, in Tom King's Wonder Woman, she eats a rat. Wonder Woman. And she punches her
He's a
mother
rat.
in the face. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my attitude at this point when DC announces this. And I'm like, please be good. I need a comfort Wonder Woman book. So here's the pitch. Wonder Woman, instead of being raised on Themyscira, okay, so the Amazons were apparently the world's first superheroes. And they disappeared. And then Wonder Woman is given to the witch Cersei to raise in hell. So Wonder Woman's raised in hell. But here's the catch. She still ends up a good person. She still ends up a superhero. She still ends up the typical compassionate Wonder Woman. And I read this and I'm like, this is what Wonder Woman should be. Not a being raised in hell, but still, like, despite everything, she's still a good person who happens to have a giant ass sword. It's all of this is like the most ridiculous because all the absolute universe is, and by the way, seems to be borrowing heavily from a certain universe that is named after a certain movie director. So there you go. But it's like a lot of this is the pitch for the absolute universe essentially is the superheroes, but they don't have any support systems. Like Batman does not have like vast wealth.
I've heard, yeah, that he does. He's not a rich guy, so he's
Superman does not have the Kents. He's in fact on the run, kind of like in Man of Steel. Wonder Woman does not have the Amazons. She's practically by herself. So the purpose of this is for them to say, if you strip these characters down to their fundamental cores, if you strip these characters down of everything that like helps them in their adventures,
it helps them be who. Right.
They are still superheroes. They are still the characters we know and love. And I read this.
The way you just pitched it to me. Now I'm interested.
Yeah, it's
now I'm interested.
In a way, it's better than Marvel's Ultimate Universe because it's so vastly.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying.
Here's the thing.
I'm not enjoying the Ultimates.
Well, even the first Ultimate Universe, because the problem with it is that, yeah, they made it different, but everyone still it was still kind of more of the same. This, no, is vastly different from everything that you typically would see from DC.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate
no problem. That. Definitely read that book. And currently, it is like
I'm actually. I got a lot of reading now because I'm heading overseas for the holidays, so I'm not gonna have much to do. So I'm taking a lot of these boys that I haven't read yet and get some time to. All right, so